Hello, my audience. I'm reviewing um, the first Resident Evil movie with Mila Jovovich from 2002. I think it came out in 2002, or I'll put the right year in the title of my video, okay? If I got the title mixed up in with a different year, just in case, I'll look at what year this came out first before titling my video after recording this, like I normally do. Okay, now I'm going to I'm going to go into spoilers, but before I go to spoilers, I'm going to give my final verdict. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I liked the first Resident Evil movie. Now I'm going to talk about what I liked about the movie. So that might have some spoiler territory. So those who want to see the film first, stop here, and then you can come back later if you want to not be spoiled by this movie, because it's a pretty fun movie to watch. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. This was spoil what I liked about the movie, so that would lead into spoiler territories. You know. So, what I liked about this movie is a lot about this movie is everything to the details, aesthetic designs on set, the things that they shot, the whole thing that all the shots, action, all of the sets. I like all the action. I like all the shots. I like the director who directed this movie. The guy whoever directed this movie did a good job directing this movie. Does a good job balancing action and horror, like zombie horror, and it does a good job making a zombie movie feel like almost like a heist action movie. It feels like, and it gets very creative with the scares and the kills and the ideas in the movie. As in, it's not just like sometimes, spoiler, the zombies are dogs, and those are just one of the zombies. And one of the things that these gadgets that kill people in the movie is a bunch of lasers that are high-tech booby traps to get through. Really advanced, high-tech, dangerous booby trap. And it shows a bunch of people getting killed by those too. And it's pretty sick and gruesome. I can see why this was a pretty good movie, I thought. Very creative. The first Resident Evil movie. And those who don't know, this is based on a video game with the same video game franchise, been going on for decades, with the same name, titled Resident Evil. This movie is basically inspired. This movie wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the Resident Evil video games. Is how this movie got made and greenlit, because of the Resident Evil video games happened, and they got made script into this movie, it is true that this is very loosely based off of the Resident Evil games with the same title. It takes the zombie approach, but it takes it with different main characters that weren't in the Resident Evil video games mythology, world building. And so Alice, that was Mila Jovovich's character, was original character that was never in the games. Or never appeared in the games since Alice was created for the movie. That's the Mila Jovovich character she plays. Alice is her name in the Resident Evil films, the main character. So yeah, it changes basically the character. So they don't use the real characters from the video game. The characters from the video games for the main focus. Just Alice and only Alice, pretty much. Is allowed to be common. That's kind of a downside to this movie, is that even when the characters from the video games, like in Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse, when they do start appearing, they're not allowed to be competent heroes on their own without Alice. So that's kind of why the Resident Evil Village. I guess that's kind of that's kind of a big bit of I can see why they can set some people of the games who were introduced for the games before the movies, seeing the movies. But I love the games. I love the games also, playing the games. My first Resident Evil game I actually played by myself was Resident Evil 4. On the Wii. But I did watch my big brother AJ play plenty of Resident Evil movies, Resident Evil video games on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Including Resident Evil 4. I watched him play the Resident Evil 4 game on the PlayStation 2, I think, or was the Xbox 360 I watched him play on. One of those consoles back in the day. When, or it could have been both. Maybe they released on both, and I get confused. And I could have forgot that. I got confused a little with that detail. What if they maybe released on both consoles back in the day, and I just got confused now. So I could have been both right on both. But anyway. I was introduced to the, well, I did watch my big brother play a bunch of Resident Evil games before the 2002 movie came out. And I was on the young side, and it was kind of hard for me to play the horror games because as a kid, for horror games before 2002, I struggled playing horror games because I would get frustrated because I would get so difficult and confused. It was so complex, all of the Resident Evil games. I don't know how it does it. This is what I was thinking to myself when I was trying to figure out trying to figure out the controls, you know, and what to do. So, when I played the first Resident Evil game on my Wii, I really didn't know what I was doing. And I was having trouble figuring out the controls still. And that was back when I played my first Resident Evil game was in 2008 or 2009 when I got it on the Wii. My dad got it for me for Christmas present. One of my past Christmases that previous. And then I got the Resident Evil 4 game. It was one of my first Wii games. But I had struggled playing that game. Because I had trouble understanding the controls. Because it was rated M for mature 17 plus and up. So I probably was trying to... it was too advanced the controls for me probably at that time. But I'm going to try again one of these days playing that copy of that game. I still have it in my room. But before I played any of the Resident Evil video games, I watched the first... before playing the video games, I watched the Resident Evil movies with Milla Jovovich. Before I was ready to try any of the Resident Evil games and figure out the controls. And try to keep up with of following along through the tutorials. And I forget, sometimes I forget, when I was a kid, I forget often what I learned in tutorials for video games. Or I could learn on screen. I forgot a lot as a kid. Mostly because I was abused by my mommy, my biological mommy, and her boyfriend Vinny as a kid, who she left dad for, and was with him for 7 years till she died of one day due to ALS symptoms being bad in 2010. It was October 3rd, yes, when I saw her last. And then October 31 is when I got the news from Dad that she already passed away. Anyway, what I was saying about the Resident Evil movies with Milla Jovovich from 2002 is that I give this a 10 out of 10 for making me more interesting, for making me really interested in wanting to try the Resident Evil movies more than just watching my brother play the games. It's how much I enjoyed this movie. The first Resident Evil movies and all the sequels, including Final Chapter with Milla Jovovich. I enjoyed all of them. Sequels. I would give all the sequels a 10 out of 10 in a heartbeat right now. But I want to save each sequel for a separate video. And that's why I give 2002, the first Resident Evil movie, was Milla Jovovich, a 10 out of 10 for being one of my favorite video game movies. I approve this movie. It's one of my favorite video game movies of all time, and favorite adaptations of all time, and one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love the Milla Jovovich's. I love also Milla Jovovich, all of her performance in the movie and everything to do with her, even her short time nudity scene in the shower, where she wakes up with amnesia. That's the opening of the movie when stuff really gets intense and the zombies start killing people and coming out of left and right. It was so cool of a movie. This movie was awesome. 10 out of 10. I approve this. It was fun, gory, sexy, action-packed, memorable, iconic movie for me. I give it a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite movies of all time for sure. That's going to be I'm going to end of my last review for tonight. This movie is going to be my last review I'm making tonight because it's night out where I am, and then I'm going to because it's getting late. And I don't want to over-exhaust myself, including my brain. I want to make another video. So this is going to be the last video for tonight, okay? Going to make another video maybe tomorrow if I feel up to it. I'm going to push it though, and I'm not going to guarantee that I'm going to make a video tomorrow, okay? So, I'm Jake Allen Graham, my honest. That's my review on the Resident Evil movie from 2002. I give it a 10 out of 10, and I approve this movie. And hit the thumbs up to like my video, to grow my likes, and grow my subscribe button, hitting the subscribe button. And hit the comment below to let you know what you saw this video in my review, you know? If you liked it or not, or what do you think? How did you enjoy it? Much you enjoyed this video? I hope you enjoyed it, though. Hope it's positive. A video you enjoy. So, that's my review on the Resident Evil movies. The first one was Milla Jovovich from 2002. Thank you for watching this video through. Good night and goodbye, my audience.